At their peak in the 19th century, World's Fairs were unrivaled spectacles, combining industry, commerce, and entertainment in ways that drew massive crowds and left enduring cultural impacts. These events were far more than gatherings. They were a fusion of innovation and awe, akin to combining CES, Disneyland, TED Talks, and MoMA into one colossal attraction. Born in the first age of globalization, their goal was to showcase human achievement on a massive scale. In short, these were the greatest attractions of all time. World's Fairs redefined tourism. Take the Chicago World's Fair in 1893. It attracted 27 million visitors, about 40% of the U.S. population at the time, in a six-month period between May and October. Compare this to the 22 million visitors to SeaWorld, with 15 parks, or Six Flags, with 27 locations, in 2023. Paris's 1900 Exposition Universelle surpassed this, with 39 million paid attendees, exceeding France's population. These feats occurred in an era before mass tourism, relying on rail and steamships to bring visitors from near and far. These fairs weren't just vast, they were logistical marvels. In Chicago, one day saw over 700,000 visitors, with food vendors serving tens of thousands of pounds of meat and millions of cups of coffee. Fairgrounds spanned hundreds of acres, larger than today's biggest theme parks, creating entire cities from scratch to host these events. The early fairs, such as London's Great Exhibition of 1851, celebrated industrial progress. Visitors marveled at innovations ranging from steam engines to ornamental crafts. By the late 19th century, fairs highlighted cutting-edge technologies, such as electric dynamos at Chicago's Palace of Mechanic Arts or Paris's Galerie des Machines. These exhibitions reflected an era dominated by agriculture and industry, making them the ultimate showcase of the global economy. By the late 19th century, fairs expanded beyond industry to include entertainment. This point is important to our story, so hang on to it for later. The Chicago World's Fair introduced the world of the Ferris wheel, while cultural villages, gondola rides, and electric boats attracted crowds. Midways evolved into spectacles of their own, featuring acrobatics, exotic performances, and amusement rides. By the 20th century, fairs included experimental attractions from nudist colonies to amusement rides. With their emphasis on spectacle and human achievement, World's Fairs gave the world transformative landmarks and inventions. The Eiffel Tower, built for the 1889 Exposition Universelle, remains a global icon, as do Seattle's Space Needle or Montreal's La Ronde. Even Disneyland's It's a Small World ride traces its origin to a World's Fair. Technological breakthroughs like the typewriter, telephone, and Ferris wheel debuted at these exhibitions, while culturally, movements like French Impressionism found some of their first global platforms at World's Fairs. The golden age of World's Fairs faded by the mid-20th century for numerous reasons. Obviously, two world wars and multiple regional conflicts, economic recessions, and geopolitical tensions disrupted the global harmony these events symbolized. But one of the most important reasons was the plummeting of exhibitor numbers. While Paris's 1900 fair hosted 80,000 exhibitors, New York's 1939 fair featured only 1,500, even though attendance was still high. As early as the 1860s, competition in the form of journals, specialized trade fairs, and congresses had emerged to dilute the impact of fairs for the dissemination and promotion of technical and cultural progress. Simultaneously, exhibitors became increasingly dissatisfied by space and logistical requirements. For sheer trade and commerce, companies found trade fairs and other outlets more effective for promoting their wares. Even despite the dissatisfaction, exhibitor numbers kept rising. From 65,000 in Chicago in 1893 to more than 83,000 in 1900 in Paris. But that would be the peak. As the agricultural and industrial sectors of the economy shrunk in relation to services, many of the small-scale artisans and manufacturers that had comprised the bulk of the exhibitors were permanently phased out. In some sectors, corporations consolidated control. All the while, would-be exhibitors found other promotional outlets. Then there was World War I, a depression, and World War II. Simultaneously, after the 1893 Chicago World's Fair, an amusement park boom blanketed the United States. By 1906, over 1,500 amusement parks existed in the U.S. alone, offering year-round attractions. Permanent amusement parks further diminish the allure of World's Fairs. The rise of consumerism and urbanization made such local venues more convenient and accessible than a one-time global event. Today, fairs like Expo 2020 in Dubai continue to draw millions, but their global influence has waned. Modern fairs emphasize diplomacy and cultural exchange over groundbreaking innovation. While World's Fairs no longer command the attention they once did, their impact remains undeniable. They gave us landmarks, cultural movements, and technological milestones that shape our world today. And to imagine such an attraction once existed, all-encompassing and universal in theme, content, and appeal, is an inspiration for us all as we continue to conceptualize and plan these attractions that bring people together.